it obscures. Could you take the bucket of candy down? It obscures my sight line. Thank you. I'll get the second sheet later. Hello, good evening on this summer evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Town Council's public forum. Everybody will get 3 minutes each to speak. I'm afraid I will need to cut you off right at 3 minutes to allow our fellow town citizens time to speak. Because we don't know how many people there will be to speak until 45 minutes into it, it is necessary to have only the 3 minutes. I ask the hallway over there to be quiet, please. Be a little quieter, so we could hear Edward Goodrich speak. Although I'm sure his voice will resonate. Is Ed Goodrich here?
Good evening, Council. Thank you for serving your town of Stratford. Edward Goodrich, 2320 Elm Street. I just want to speak about the center school issue. I think tonight we have, in this new form of government, the council really has to now kind of take control. And I see the way this is moving. I know there's talk about some demolition testing going on. We really need the council to weigh in on this and really think about it. And you know, it's a really convoluted thing because they're talking about a 700 car parking garage right where it is, and I think everybody thinks that that's really outrageous. Now, I know when you do government, when you do community things, you get everyone on board. And I remember when we did the Stratford Center project, we had meetings once a month for over a year with the community and the citizens and the town manager at the time and economic development to see what was right. We don't see that here. I know when they did Listman's Landing over in Milford, they had big changes there. They had meetings and everyone, they got everyone on board. The community, you know, their aldermans, their mayor. Here, we didn't do that. Mm-hmm. And we really need the council to step in here and really evaluate what we're doing taking out center school. And I think that everyone around town could see, with all the portable classrooms that are on and the overcrowding issues, once we sign off on this land, and we all got to realize it's gone forever. And it could erupt another problem down the road. So we really got to slow this down, and I understand that we're going to propose a study to do this. I think that is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do for the council to see what the costs are going to be. What's the cost of the whole system? Now, we have to realize that if we take this out, this affects the entire system. Now, we're going to get jammed in certain areas if we take this out and we don't really have a plan or anything what we do. So I not only want to see this study done, I want to see people... I want to see a motion with the council tonight to stop this demolition testing, which could be a detriment to the school as well. And I think that we're really counting on you, the town of Stratford, and the council, to weigh in on this. And I think that's all we're really asking. We're getting stuff from the mayor's office. We got stuff from the Board of Ed. That's fine. But ultimately, in this town, traditionally, this body has control over town properties. And we would really love to see the cause and effect, really, of something like this. This belongs to the town of Stratford. We could be using this if we have troubles with overcrowding, and let's not forget, we all talk about tax bases. Our school system is what makes our property values. It makes what people want to live here and move here. And if we start really messing with that, we could have a real problem in this town. And everyone thinks that, education, and we're giving too much money. Education is what's keeping families here and what's helping our property values and people to move here. So please, we're counting on the council to take this in another direction, to do this wisely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is John Rich.
Hi, John Rich, 68 Willow Avenue. I'm also a member of the Parks and Recreation Committee. I'm here to talk about the dog park proposal that's in front of you. To be honest, I voted for it. I did vote for it because I personally think that the dog park being located near the animal control facility may have more benefits than detriments. It's a good location, but there are a lot of good locations in the town, and we've looked at a lot of these locations over time. The difference between good locations and a great location is the fact that a great location would be somewhere where the people involved in that location would actually say, you know what, come here, let's look at it. Let's see if we can work it out. Because so far, every place that we've looked at has had a not in my backyard opinion. We don't want to even talk to you. We don't want to even think about you. It would just be nice to work things out. And so whatever you guys decide tonight, what I hope you do is form a special committee that would consist of one of the council people from Parks and Rec, one of the council representatives from whatever location you pick, an at-large member from Parks and Rec, an at-large member from whatever location you pick, whatever commission covers that. And then also include a member of STARS, a member of the Stratford Dog Park Action Committee, the animal control officer, and of course, the park superintendent. My hope is that they can sit down at a table and work things out. And through compromise and some cooperation among them, they can find the common ground to make the dog park a successful thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rich. The next person is Chavius Hall. Chavius Hall.
Hello, my name is Chavius, and I have collaborated with Mr. Wali Kadim on planning a peace protest in front of Town Hall. This protest has come about because of the tragedies that have happened across the U.S. I am not here to go against any law enforcement. I personally do not have a problem with Stratford law enforcement. I think they're doing a wonderful job. It's just that a lot of people, everyone's saying, why, if the Stratford doesn't have a problem, then why are you having one? Everything has to start from one place. So what I'm hoping is that this peace protest will resonate out, and then it'll get people to think about we need some sort of reform on laws and legislation, because some of the laws that are set in place aren't being followed, and there needs to be consequences for the actions taking place. Out of this year, only up to, from the beginning January to July, already 613 people have been killed by the hands of law enforcement, and that's all races. That's not one race. So if this continues, by the end, that's more than 2 people a day. So I think there needs to be actions that need to be set in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the next person is Karen Tracy or Karen Trug. I'm not Tracy.
Honorable members of the Town Council, as an officer of the Stratford Animal Rescue Society, referred to as STARS, I'm here to represent our organization's position on the proposed dog park location next to the WPCA facility. On June 28th, our president sent each of you a detailed communication regarding our position on that location. I'm going to touch on some of those points today. We are a 100% volunteer organization and have been partnering with Stratford Animal Control for the past 16 years, facilitating the adoption of the hundreds of animals that are impounded at the municipal facility. All our volunteer efforts are performed under the direction of the head animal control officer. Our program for animal rehabilitation and expedient adoptions is highly successful and recognized as such. Animal control was even recognized by the National Animal Care and Control Association by being granted the 2015 Outstanding Animal Control Agency Award. Such national recognition and being identified as best in class by your peers is a substantial achievement. The location that is being proposed for the dog park puts our program in jeopardy. It is not only within walking distance from the animal control facility, but practically on its doorstep, less than 150 feet away. Being so close in proximity to the kennels, training pens, and walking path, the shelter dogs will see, hear, and sense the excitement from within the park while being restrained either on a leash or within the confines of the facility. This is not an issue of one dog walking past or barking, or a debate about sharing space. We are talking about an animal's senses and sensory overload. There is no compromise or way of sheltering them from a dog park's highly charged environment, that close to their housing and daily living. They are the residents of this location, and since they cannot speak, we have to speak for them. The dogs impounded at Animal Control have been found roaming or are from cruelty and/or neglect situations. They do not know their name, and many have never been on a leash. Never mind having any basic manners, the majority come in terrified, no prior socialization with people or animals, and are trying to determine whether or not they trust those of us that are going to handle them. That's not to mention the ones that are starving and emaciated to the point that they have to be fed from a slow feeder bowl, as eating too fast in that condition risks death, or are so infested with mange that their skin falls off during a medicated bath, or the ones that have literally shut down due to depression and stress. The condition these dogs arrive in is not that of a well-balanced family pet.
Please continue. You represent an organization.
Okay. Throughout this discussion, suggestions have been raised that there could be the benefits of a dog park next to a municipal shelter, citing shelters around the country. None of which, after review, are comparable to what is in our town. These are sprawling campuses whose dog parks range from 2 to 100 acres, and in most cases, private humane societies that are substantially different from ours in facility structure, staffing, and even the origin of animals that they take in. Most are owner surrenders, and the organization can decide whether or not to accept them. In order to be qualified to speak to the issue at hand, one needs to have spent time, day in and day out, at the shelter to truly understand the unique issues and challenges that can and do arise. This proposed location ultimately has the most impact on our organization and animal control. We spend thousands of hours each year at the facility contributing to the program, and over time have learned many lessons in regards to what works and what doesn't. It is extremely disheartening that the one location brought forth for a dog park is the one location that has grave concerns raised by two of the significant volunteer canine organizations within the town. In addition to STARS, the Stratford Dog Park Action Committee has publicly stated they would not support nor use their funds to install a dog park in the proposed WPCA location. For all the reasons I just spoke of, we recommend that any site that is proposed for a dog park be located a minimum of 1,400 feet away from the animal control facility. Members of the Town Council, respectfully, we ask that you vote no on this dog park location proposal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Alice Arcuri. And then after that, Kathleen Callahan.
Hi, good evening. I'm Alice Arcuri. I live on Bittersweet Lane. I've been a resident of Stratford all my life, 56 years, and I'm here to speak in support of a dog park here in town, but not at the location that Parks and Recreations has designated. I can't emphasize enough for this council to pay attention to what the STARS group is saying and to what the Stratford Dog Park Association is saying. These folks have worked on this for 6 years. They've looked at multiple sites. They've emphatically said that this site doesn't work. So I implore you to listen to them, to look at options. And the other comment that I'd like to say is I know that folks have talked about Longbrook Park and an area there. I know some residents may not be thrilled with that area, but we're a town of a population of 51,000 plus. I don't feel a group of 5 or 6 or 7 should, override what is good for the town. We need a central location. We need a location with parking. We need a location with restrooms. We need a location with shade. All of these things need to be considered. This topic has been battled around long enough, and there's no reason in my mind why we cannot find a 1-acre piece of land for people to go and let their dogs run free. People are letting their dogs run free now. We have leash laws. Nothing's happening. Why can't we do it in a controlled environment? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Kathleen Callahan and then Paula Gabriel.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Callahan. I live at 271 Castle Drive in Stratford. Good evening, members of the Town Council. What happens if a dog park is opened at this WPCA location? It would mean that STARS could not provide a safe and trusting environment in which to train the dogs. It would mean that STARS could not fulfill their mission and would be challenged to best help the shelter dogs transition to their forever homes. To the owners who want a park for the dogs of Stratford to play in, I ask that you remember that the rescued dogs in the shelter are also Stratford's dogs. Members of the Town Council, I'm asking you to vote no on a proposed WPCA site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Paula Gabriel? Paula Gabriel? Is she not here? Oh, there you are.
Hi. I had checked with the Stratford Library, and they said to check with City Hall. I just wanted to know if there was any way to find out if this person, 585 East Main Street, Stratford, Connecticut, was ever a Stratford police officer, because the library doesn't have records. And this is dating back to I don't expect it like right now, but if there's any way to find that out, that's all.
Okay, thank you. We will refer that to Mr. Eng, who's the human resource. Okay, thank you. Lisa Hernandez and then Sandra Fisher.
Lisa Hernandez, 175 Cut Spring Road. Good evening, members of the council. It was with shock and dismay that I first heard of the Parks and Recreation Committee's recommendation of the WPCA site for the Stratford Dog Park. This site was a bad choice when first proposed in 2014, and it is a bad choice now. Placing the dog park adjacent to the animal control facility will be detrimental to the work done by this nationally award-winning partnership between STARS and the ACOs. STARS volunteers work tirelessly, donating thousands of hours for free to the town of Stratford, to the care, training, and rehabilitation of Stratford's less fortunate animals. If they have an issue with this location choice, their words should be respected, as they are the ones who work daily with the shelter animals, and they know firsthand the negative impact of having the park adjacent to their facility. In addition to the STAR's objections, it is equally a subpar location based on the narrow lot, lack of shade, plethora of mosquitoes in this field that is not much more than a swampy marsh. Rather than be in a central location, this site is well off the beaten path, requiring most people to drive there, only to find limited or no parking. Why would anyone want to go there based on these challenges? Most telling is that the Stratford Dog Park Group, who has worked for years to find a suitable location, and particularly a different site than the WPCA site when it was first proposed, they do not support this location. If this site is chosen, none of their funds will be donated, and it will be up to the town to foot the bill. The dog park should be a place that the community can be proud of, in a central location and wanted by the residents. The recent discussions centering around Longbrook Park hold much promise. I have heard many residents state their support for this location. I urge you to please reject, or at the very least table, the PNR recommendation of the WPCA site in order to fully consider Longbrook Park instead, or even possibly Roosevelt Forest or another location as an alternative, and allow it to be vetted properly. Unless we can find a location that is wanted and welcomed by the community, I fear we should not have a dog park in Stratford, especially not one as contentious and disastrous as the terrible WPCA site. As a Stratford taxpayer, I cannot support the WPCA site choice, and I respectfully ask that you, our town council, do not support this choice either.
Okay, thank you very much. Sandra Fisher. And then after Ms. Fisher will be Frank Mantlick.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Fisher. I live at 373 Henry Avenue. I'm a new member of the Commission of Aging. I'm asking that the $25,000 be placed back in the outreach for the fiscal year of July 1st. I'm an outreach worker where I work at Nurse with breast cancer and getting women screened who don't have the money to do so. It is essential for the seniors to have an outreach worker. A lot of them cannot get out. They don't know the resources. They don't have computers. And so this outreach worker would be beneficial for the health of our senior citizens. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Fisher. Frank Mantlick.
My name is Frank Mantlick. I live on Highview Drive. I've been a Stratford resident about 17 years. I came tonight because I kind of wanted to get information about the dog park and maybe make a few comments. I thought there might be plans available to look at. I don't know if it's to that stage yet, but online, okay. I have a couple of comments. I'm a former dog owner, so I can appreciate the love that people feel for their pets. But I don't think I see the need for municipalities to provide a park and insure it and fund it and clean waste and all that sort of thing for a portion of the population. I know a lot of towns around, a lot of cities around do have dog parks, and I'm not sure how they operate, how they're funded, how they're managed. But, I mean, I have friends and relatives that own dogs. My sister-in-law owns 3 large dogs. She fences in her own yard, and they run all they want. I mean, why can't dog owners take care of their own dogs in a proper manner? Why does a municipality have to build and maintain and fund a dog park? To me, it doesn't make sense. Now, the other side of the coin, if the town and the council are committed to doing this, if it's already a concept that's been approved, then the question is the location. Well, I've kind of superficially been following this. I know plans have been proposed for or sites have been proposed, Roosevelt Forest and Longbrook Park and Bird's Eye area, and I am a very active ornithologist, and I didn't like the proposals of those other sites. If in my mind, if you have to pick a site, I visit the treatment plant and the marsh and the greenway several times a week in pursuit of birds and nature. That little strip of land, I assume it's going to be that little strip of land behind the west of the sewage plant. It's a fairly small area, but to me it would kind of make most sense to put it there. Little did I know that the animal shelter folks have their own reasons for opposing it because of they're trying to train their rescue dogs there. So, I mean, it's hard to please everybody. So I know it's a tough choice, but to me, I think that site would provide less impact than some of the other areas that were proposed. That's about all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, perfect timing. Okay, next speaker is Linda Palermo, and then Thomas Yem.
Good evening, Linda Palermo, 46 Vaught Place. I would start by saying I congratulate our new Chief of Police. I wish him the best of luck in his endeavors. And above that, I congratulate our Deputy Chief of Police, Mr. Popick, who I've known for many years. He is commendable. He's an exceptional officer, and I believe he will do an outstanding job to make sure that our town is safe in every which way in which he could make it. And those that follow behind him, I wish them the best of luck in whatever their endeavors are. I'd like to address... I also would like to speak about Center School. Our mayor is clamoring it's got asbestos. And I believe other taxpayers would cry out and say, if you're so sure that it's infested with so much asbestos, kindly produce a report that has been done to prove there is asbestos in there. All it is right now is word of mouth, talk, talk, talk. So, council, I ask you to please have him have it tested so this way we could see what he is really talking about and if the asbestos is really there. With regard to the dog pound, I support a dog pound. I love pets, two-legged and four-legged. I do not feel that's an apropos place to have a dog pound. The neighbors in that area are probably going to go out of their minds with all these animals barking. If it's a park, they're going to be outside. You can't put them inside the shelter. Maybe in bad weather you could. So I say, please search, please find someplace else to put the shelter. And then the last bit of information I heard over this weekend, I have to speak to it because it would affect me very much. I live in Stony Brook Co-op, and as you know, there were issues brought up with regard to Stony Brook at last month's meeting with regard to grants that they wanted. Above that, what I have heard in the past 2 days, that our money mongers that are building all these units have been approved into town twice, are looking to eventually make Stony Brook Garden Cooperative affordable housing. Well, if those developers want it so bad, give me $200,000 for my unit, you can take it, give me enough money so I can have a car and ride out of town. I would not support that one iota. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Palermo. Thomas Yem. And then Stephanie Phillips will be right after.
Good evening. members of the council and the public. My name is Thomas Yem, 746 Broad Street. I'm also representing an organization for Stratford Network with most of my comments in case I need a little extra time. As I begin, I'd like to remind everybody here and here, you only have about a week or 10 days to put in your comments to the EPA about Raymark, so don't forget. And one other quick note. Here's the form. I'm going to be meeting with the town conservation officer, Christina Bato, tomorrow morning about the tree carnage all over town. There is a way to push back and stop it. This is the form. If you're a property owner, you're supposed to be identified this way and given a chance. But my comments tonight are about Center School. Save it from the mayor's frenzied hurry to demolish it and sell it for a massive parking garage. Brownfield grant, contamination remediation. Center School is about the same age as Flood Intermediate School, which has had remediation done. Why not perform the same remediation on Center School? How many people in this room have been harmed by the lack of toxic waste remediation at Center School in years gone by? I looked at the grant application for the demolition assistance from the state of Connecticut. It took a Freedom of Information request to obtain it, by the way. Plenty of misstatements, misrepresentations there. The application claims the land is worth nearly $6 million alone. That's what they want to sell, just like the WPCA last year. But the Stratford Tax Assessor's Office card shows that the Center School building alone, that's this card, everybody knows these, is worth nearly $4 million, while the historic Board of Ed building is worth more than $1 million itself. Do we really want to knock down a $4 million building, one of the newer school buildings in a town that is desperate for school space? There's a resolution on tonight's agenda to approve a study to find out the cost of restoring Center School to safe and usable status as a school building. Fine. Pass it unanimously. But amend it and put some teeth in it. Otherwise, the mayor and his agents of mass destruction may begin damaging the building beyond repair as soon as the end of this week. Include in the resolution, please, some language preventing any so-called demolition testing. Later on the agenda tonight, also, we're going to hear from the town attorney on this. And he's probably going to say that the mayor can do whatever he wants with Center School. Big surprise. Former Councilman Mark Dumas has already proven in court that what the town attorney's office says is very often wrong, but always what the mayor wants to hear. Town council, please stand up to that office and do justice to your own. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Stephanie Phillips.
Thank you very much. My name is Stephanie Phillips. My address is 41 Yarwood Street, and I appreciate your time tonight, and I'll try to get to 3 points that I want to talk about. The V&A, which is on your resolution, which is on your agenda, Center School, and if I don't run out of time, maybe the dog park. My first point is, over the weekend, I had a chance to talk to a couple of people, and one of the concerns that came up about restoring the $53,000 to the V&A was the V&A as an organization makes a lot of money, someone said. In fact, the words were, did you know that the director makes $200,000? Apparently, I guess somebody looked up and found their tax forms from 2014. And we need to relook at that. Maybe not a reason to give them money. Well, I thought about that, and I understand that position. But when I look at the bigger picture, when I look at the town, if you look at the top, at the same way of calculating it, we spent over $700,000 in salaries just on the top department heads alone. It's up to $1 million if you include everybody, just on salaries. This year in this past budget, we added new jobs. We added $25,000 to the economic development payroll, which has already been exceeded. We increased everybody's salaries. We didn't cut very much. But what did we cut? We cut Sterling House. their food pantry person and their consultant person. We cut it to senior services, their outreach person that goes out and helps people who can't get out of their house to make sure that they took their drugs, that they're eating, they're still with us. And we cut the $53,000 from the VNA, which is for people who do not have insurance, exceeded their insurance, they have no other way of getting home care, just for a couple of visits for the nurse to come out and see them. That's where we made our cuts. For those cuts, we got a coordinator, arts coordinator, more money for economic development, a couple of new jobs. Nobody has lost their jobs. Everybody's got an increase. But our legacy is we raised taxes, and we did it with the only cuts to the people who are most vulnerable. That's all we cut. I am asking you tonight to reinstate and make an amendment to not only put back the $53,000 for the VNA, but I'm asking you also to amend it to include the person for the Sterling House, to include the person for the senior services. Don't let them be the legacy of the only cuts that we get to say we tightened our belts by cutting the people who need the help the most. If I lose this battle, I understand. May I ask for just a moment?
No, that's okay. Thank you very much, though. Okay, Gerald Gray is next.
Good evening. My name is Gerald Gray of 29 Shoreline Drive. What I want to speak to tonight is what is known as municipal predation. I have come to you, the Stratford Town Council, each of these current 3 months and spoken to you of the horrific circumstances that have been inflicted upon my mother, Dolores Gray, and me by and via the predatory powers of the political machine of Stratford. I told of how my mother and I co-built from scratch Nature's Way Health Foods starting in 1971, and through the hard work of 60 to 80-hour, 7-day work weeks, and great honor and respect for our customers, we co-built a body of assets reportedly worth $33 million. I told you how former town attorney, now Senator Kevin Kelly, for no good reason, put my mother Dolores Gray into the predatory clutches of the elder industry cartel by inserting my medically diagnosed, mentally capable and competent Florida domiciliary mother into the Stratford probate court's estate robbing racket of his close colleague, the then almost 4-decade probate judge F. Paul Cremay, a.k.a. King Cremay, who then, without our knowledge, consent, or information thereof, put my mother and all of her assets into conservatorship under the cartel's #1 go-to for probate court elder law estate robbing, this being a vicious, monstrous stranger named Katrina Camera. I told you how Katrina Camera instantly looted my mother's assets, giving herself and the rest of the predators hundreds of thousands of dollars of my mother's money right off. And within that first year alone, Katrina Camera took another $700,000, thousands of my mother's and my money, as payment to her and the predators for doing this to us. Camera with and via Cremay, illegally without jurisdiction, went to Milford, and through Judge Cremay's crony here in Stratford, attorney Sonia DeVitt, looted and raided and stole from our 50-year-old Milford home the entire lifetime contents and all the possessions of me and my mother. This unconscionable evil continues today as my mother has been robbed of everything: properties, home, civil rights, and $33 million. This is what is known as municipal predation. What I want to address here tonight is the predatory racket being conducted here in Stratford by the town of Stratford upon residential homeowners. Last September 15th, 2015, I arrived home at 29 Shoreline Drive, the beachfront cottage my mother cash purchased over 40 years ago, and for which my mom always paid all taxes, insurance bills, etc., which were always in her name. It was while she and I were staying there together in October 2010 that my mother was violently abducted and probate judge sentenced to involuntary captivity in the Milford house of her violent abductor, that being disowned son Jay Gray, so that the cartel could continue to rob our assets unfettered. I came home that night, September 15, to find all my possessions there had been stolen during the day. When I called the police, an Officer Gentile came out and took a report. I was later informed by neighbors there had been a town vehicle there and a Stratford police officer with a landscaping company named Marin.
Ms. Gray?
Yes.
I'm afraid that there isn't more time for you, but if you want to continue in room 213 with anybody who would like to hear, you are invited to do so.
Right. I have a handout. Anybody would like to take one? I'll pass it around.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rimkunis?
Good evening. Name's Walter P. Rimkunis, 425 2nd Avenue. I heard that sign. You know, I wasn't going to speak tonight until I read through the agenda several times. And a question popped into my mind. Who has been running this town for the past several years? All right? Is it the mayor and the development group? Is it the mayor and the transportation group over there in the center? Is it the Bridgeport Regional Group and the mayor? Who actually is running this town? There's nobody, as the man said a while before me, really responsible. Anybody can do what they damn well please, except for the actual citizens of the town. I've seen it so many times in various phases. We're giving tax rebates on buildings. We're going to give things away without even coming down and talking about it. One of the things on your agenda, as was said, is the center school. I recall sitting here listening when all of a sudden, wow, we got a catastrophe. Everybody's going to die. We've got asbestos at the center school. And yet we had classes in there for over a year. And yet, but according to the front office and his group over there that wanted to build that 700 car parking garage, oh, it's got to come down. I never saw a study. Have any of you saw a study on it where it says we've got so much asbestos that it has to come down? I don't believe anybody saw a study. I don't believe a study was done by the administration and his cohorts. This gets me down real bad. I don't want to see this going on. I want accountability for things being done within this town. It's got to be done here. Mm-hmm. You people control it. He is supposed to do it through to what you tell him to. When the heck are you going to get this thing fixed? It's annoying every time I come
it's
to listen.
It's on order.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mulligan?
George Mulligan, 429 Housatonic Avenue. If you don't mind, I'm going to step back and speak up rather than that microphone.
Do we need him at the mic to record?
I have to apologize because earlier today, somebody can misspeak or mistype or make an error. And on the Stratford Star, I made some comments that I wish I could have taken back or phrased better. And I only made it worse when I elaborated. So anyway, I wanted to correct that, whereas I have relatives amongst all the people which I made reference to as well. I also want to make a point that this council raised taxes 2 mills. And there's going to be $25 million. $25 million in pension bonds and pension deposits besides that. And last year, $465,000 went to lawyers for the WPCA, while that town council raised $29 million, or 6.4 mils each of the prior 2 years, to the pension bonds and pension deposits. It appears to be that people were hiding the truth and causing distractions at the taxpayers' expense. Now, later a couple weeks, the EPA is looking to have some comments where they're looking to move about 111,000 cubic yards of grounds, including asbestos and TCEs and TCEs and PCBs, inland and upfield, where there's a 500-acre groundwater. Now, there's going to be at 12 cubic yards per dump truck and 111,000 cubic yards, that's almost 10,000 dump trucks over 4 years that are going to go up and down Prairie Boulevard, past Shop and Stop, Walmart, Marshall's, the Dot Shopping Center. I believe you might have something with your name Osborne, middle name Osborne. You might have some people that were involved with the Dot. So I want people to be aware that there's possible dangers related to the Raymark situation. I emailed all of you today the same things, or many of the same things I've emailed you in the past, where in June of 2009, I had a threat to my life, which I found in January of 2016, and I emailed to the police, and also emailed to the police in February 22nd, online complaints about that. I've yet to be contacted by the police to do any investigation. I am frustrated by all the things that go on across this country. Tina Manis found a beautiful YouTube thing about the history of race baiting and how people get manipulated all across United States history, all across all of our ancestors.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mulligan.
That doesn't seem like 3 minutes.
I'm sorry. You can ask Ms. Cabral. I didn't set it. Ms. Cabral's very honest.
I don't doubt her honesty, but it would be nice if we had spots or some way to be able to see things were going on.
Okay, thank you very much. Christopher Cormier.
Hi, my name is Chris Cormier. I live at 127 Warwick Avenue, and I'm here to speak to you about Center School. 11 years ago, when my husband and I bought our first and probably our last house, we bought it in Stratford, in a neighborhood that we saw transitioning from an older population to younger. We knew that there were many families moving out, older families, and many with children on their way in. At that time, I think there was one family with 4 children on the street, about 25 houses. Knowing that children were part of our future plans, we felt that Stratford was a great place for our future family, and that this neighborhood would be the perfect place for us. That was February of 2005, and that was, I believe, the last year that Center School was open as a general ed building. In the years since, we've expanded our family to 4 boys, all of whom I brought today to kind of see our system in action. And they are all currently 2 of whom are currently in the Stratford school system, and 2 are on their way in the next couple of years. Our neighborhood has also seen a big increase in children who are already student age, or like our own family, within several years it'll happen. Our own street alone, which has approximately 25 houses, there are 14 elementary school age children and 5 on their way in. However, with the lack of neighborhood school, our children don't have a neighborhood home base. Every morning they stand on the corner of Elm and East Broadway and wait to get on separate buses. These buses drive our children all over Stratford to Franklin, Lordship, Nichols, and Soto School. 4 children are driven to the Discovery School by their mother. This is one street, one small dead-end street. Multiply this scenario by the many streets in this neighborhood and the number of families, and more importantly, children, the number is very large. As a homeowner and parent, I have always assumed that as enrollment increased, which it naturally does and did, the Board of Ed would reopen Center School and serve our neighborhood's children, and the busing of our children all over town would end. Seeing the increased need for portable classrooms all over town, I had assumed that this was going to happen in the near future. Then we hear about this plan, a plan to permanently get rid of yet another town-owned property and a Board of Ed building that, until last month, was being used quite a bit for special needs programs. Now, this plan is supposedly being fast-tracked because of health issues and remediation. There is no need for a fire sale. As we all know, property is a finite resource. When we need this property in the future, and we will need this property, it'll be gone. And there will be no way to rectify this decision. A bad decision financially, and a bad decision for our neighborhood, and a bad decision for Stratford. It's obvious that the speed of which this is happening, the Board of Ed leaving on the 15th and testing starting on the 17th, is directly related to the fact that Center School is located smack dab in District 2, and currently there is no one speaking specifically for us in District 2, while many on the council have tried diligently to represent us. In many cases, a neighborhood school is not just for education of our children, but a hub for the community to come together and discuss issues that affect not only our children, but the neighborhood and town. If this were to happen at another currently open elementary school in Stratford, you can almost guarantee that the people would be up in arms about this happening. Maybe the administration is taking advantage of the fact that our neighborhood hasn't had this unifying opportunity open for the past decade. My request for you is to not act rashly. Even though someone is ringing the fire alarm, there is no fire here, and we do not have to have a fire sale for a parking garage, or yet more condominiums and retail space. There needs to be no rush to destroy Stratford's historic district in an effort to have some people come to Stratford to park their cars, also known as the expansion of the TOD. Please do not allow this to be pushed down our throats. I have heard no support from our townspeople, your constituents, in support of this course of action. Do what is right, not what you are being driven towards by those who are not thinking in the long term or who won't be here to live with the consequences. Our families are the long term. At the very least, stop the beginning of the destruction this month and let the voters decide if this is where we want to go. At the most, take a stand and protect our homes, neighborhoods, and children by stopping this craziness in its tracks tonight. Thank you.
Leah Natter.
Hi, I'm Leah Natter. I live at 170 Brookside Drive. I am a registered nurse with the Stratford VNA. I am here to talk about the patients that we do use this money for, the patients that are under the Agency on Aging that can't afford to have us come in and look at an injury unless we have the help from the town of Stratford with the town billing. If we take that away, our patients will end up going to the emergency room for no reason most times. To have a loved one packed up to go to the ER, to take an ambulance, to be there, to wait, when a nurse from the Stratford VNA can take care of these patients at home. So I applaud the council to please reconsider this. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Stephen Roguskus.
I am Stephen Roguskus. I live at 94 Noble Street. I notice on the agenda that you guys are going to vote on doing a study of the feasibility of refurbishing Center School, and I thank you so much for that, and I urge you to vote for it. I also do not have a representative on the council to do that. I know, Madam Chair, that you are very passionate about this subject, and I hope that you will lead a charge to make sure that this destructive testing they talk about does not start within the week. If the town attorney is going to give an opinion after you guys vote on this, and I fear that he's going to say that it's too late, we've taken this grant from the state, you've got to ask questions, because after the town attorney gives his opinion on this, will come questions to the town attorney and questions to the mayor. Why did we wait? Why did we write the grant in a way that we were asking funds to do demolition? Why didn't we ask for funds to do demolition or remediation? Why didn't we do a study about how much it would cost to remediate the school before we asked for a grant to demolish it? It's simple to me that that's the order you have to do things in. You got to figure out the costs before you make a decision. And we are going to need another school in Stratford if we're going to build up the population, if we're building all this housing. And Stratford Center does not have a neighborhood school. It hasn't for 10 years, and that really hurts that part of town. So if the school cannot be remediated, maybe we need to tear it down and build a new school on the site. That might be the less expensive option. It certainly will cost less than having to find new property to buy in 5 or 10 years and build a school there. And then, sort of a lesser subject, but the bell, okay? That got taken down and supposedly stolen and returned. I don't know. We need to find out. If the mayor is talking about tearing down the school, we need to save that bell. That's part of Stratford's history. Mayor Harkins does not get to decide what happens to that. He doesn't get to decide what happens with Center School either. You guys need to have a say in it. You need to stand up for that, and I hope that you will. And since I don't have a representative, I'm asking for the 8 of you to be my representative in that discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the last person is Ms. Manis.
So I find myself wearing lots of hats lately, and one of the hats,
Name and
315
address.
Fox Hill Road, Tina Manis. Thank you, Mr. Ramkunis. So I find myself wearing a lot of hats lately, and I need to bring this to your attention. I know some of you were CC'd on this email earlier today as part of building needs and things like that. I am the treasurer of the Bunnell Alumni Association. We were founded officially on July 1st. Bob DiLorenzo, who is our current freshman coach for Bunnell High School as well, and working with the varsity team and a former alumni, is the president. First vice president is Chris Susi, and second vice president is Luigi De Palma. Guys couldn't come tonight. They have small children. They're coaching, doing different things. I'm here on their behalf because we need to talk about the field house. Bob is teaching there with students. They're getting ready to put pads on, and he is very concerned regarding the fact that there's no water for the athletes to clean themselves, and that students who are now practicing right now at Johnson are going to be traveling up to Bunnell to do their kickoff for the fall, and that the field house is in bad repair and doesn't look like it's getting fixed anytime soon. There needs to be the running water. We need to make sure the propane tank is fixed and all the snacks and stuff are good, but first and foremost, the tiles are breaking. Now, we talk about asbestos. I don't know when those tiles were put in, and I don't know if they're dangerous. They're cracked. We need to find that out. The cleats are getting stuck in the cracks on the tile. The ceiling tiles need to come down. I've heard people say that it's a MRSA breeding ground, and I trust those guys when they tell me that, yes, it is. Luigi and Bob have seen it firsthand. They were appalled. Now, I know children come from all over town to use this field house, and I know that it was built with love and care, and we've left it alone for a little while. But we need to figure something out while we're waiting for the RFP to go through and what's going to happen to build the field house. We need to do something for the health and welfare of the students now. Students are using that field house now and getting ready to go there now. So we know as an alumni association, as a nonprofit, we cannot support candidates, nor can we push for any kind of legislation. We are well aware of our status. We will not be pushing for any kind of legislation. We're pushing right now for kids. We're asking the town to take the responsibility for those buildings. This is not the Board of Ed's job. Those buildings belong to the town. So I'm asking you as a council to help me to hold the mayor's feet to the fire tonight and ask him how he's going to protect our students from the health and safety violations that seem to be a part of the Bunnell Fieldhouse right now. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from when I ask my question, and I hope I have your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, the public forum is adjourned. Thank you. The town council meeting starts at